Hello, it's Sonia here, The Pretty Stitch. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, I'm so happy to have you here. So today is Tuesday, and that means it's Tunisian Tuesday. So we are going to be featuring a stitch pattern today. So I'm using my J hook or 6mm hook here, and I'm just going to use this pink worsted weight number 4 yarn. So this stitch pattern, what you're going to need to do is chain a multiple of 4, and then you will need to add 3. So why don't we chain 15? 4 times 3 is 12, and you add 3 and it's 15. All right, so I've got 15 chains here. So we are going to be working row 1. And this is our setup row. So in the second chain from our hook, we're going to work in that back bump, and we're going to pull up a loop. And I like to work in the back bump when doing Tunisian crochet. It's my preferred method. I just feel like it gives a cleaner look to it. And if you are not familiar with Tunisian crochet, I do have a complete playlist that goes over the basics to help you get started. I'll place that in the description box, and my chain is twisted. Awesome. All right, we can work through this. So sometimes when working with a slightly larger hook, your chain can get a little twisted. So I am able to still figure out how to work in the chain because I've been crocheting a really long time. So now I've righted the ship, it's now back to where it needs to be, but somebody that is a newer crocheter might struggle a little bit. So if that's the case, I would just undo your chain and, just chain again and try to make sure your chain is as even and neat as possible. So with Tunisian crochet, each row is worked in 2 parts. So we are putting our loops on our hook right now. This is the forward pass, so the first part of row 1, and then the second part is called the return pass, where we'll be taking our stitches off of our hook, and then each part equals 1 row. And I really did a terrible job with this chain. Oh, that's embarrassing. Okay, I think we've got her straightened out. So working in the back bump, here is the underside, so it should look like a row of chains just like that. So I'm going to count to make sure I have 15 loops because this chain was such a hot mess to start with. And we do have 15 loops. Okay, so now we're going to work these off. So we're going to yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2 for the rest of the row. Okay, so now we are ready for row 2. This is the start of our repeat. So our first stitch, it's going to be a 4-stitch repeat. So here are our first 4 vertical bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that first vertical bar, we're going to work Tunisian purl. And now we're going to work Tunisian simple. We're going to work a Tunisian simple together or decrease in the next 3 stitches. So inserting your hook in all 3, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now we're going to chain 1. We're going to work in this center part of the chain. So right here, we're going to insert our hook. Pull up a loop. And now when we're looking at this stitch here, you can see the 3 vertical bars. So we're going to go and insert our hook in this first vertical bar right here. As we work that together stitch, so we want to put our stitches back on because at the end of this row we will still have 15 loops on our hook. Alright, so now our next stitch is a purl stitch. So if you're not familiar with Tunisian purl, Tunisian simple, or Tunisian knit stitch, I have that in the playlist. that goes over how to do those stitches. All right, so let's continue. So now we're going to go do that Tunisian simple together in those next 3 vertical bars. Pull up a loop, chain 1, work in that center part of that chain, and then in that first vertical bar, pull up a loop. And we're just going to continue across. And now we are going to work Tunisian purl to finish up the row. And then in this last stitch, it looks like a chain, we're going to insert our hook, pull up a loop, and we should still have 15 loops on our hook. Now we're going to, oops, I did not finish off that one stitch. Man, this video is just, sorry, I do know what I'm doing. I'm having a hard time today. I did not complete this stitch, so I need to go back and work in that vertical bar. Let's pull up a loop. We're keeping it real around here. Now we're going to work Tunisian purl to finish up the row, and we are going to work in that stitch that looks like a chain. And now we have 15 loops on our hook, which is what we started with. So you might have a different number. So it is important with either regular crochet or Tunisian crochet to really be familiar with the stitches, and so that you can spot mistakes. All right, because mistakes happen, as you just saw. All right, so let's work this row. We're going to yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2 for our return pass. All right, so there we go. Row 2 was a little bit, we were on the struggle bus with this, but we did it. All right, so let's begin row 3. It's part of the repeat, so we're going to work Tunisian purl. So in all the purl stitches, you're just going to work purl right on top of that. And now we're going to work Tunisian knit stitch. So again, if you're not familiar with that, that is in the playlist. We're going to insert our hook through, pull up a loop, and this next 3 stitches. So we're working 3 knit, and now we're working purl. 3 knit, purl, 3 knit. And we're going to work that final purl stitch, and then in the stitch that looks like a chain to complete the row, and we're going to work these guys off. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. So rows 4 and 5, we are going to be repeating row 3. So that is just the knit stitches, so we're going to do that all the way across. So I'm going to do that off camera here, and I will meet you back. Okay, so there we go. So I did row 5. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to repeat rows 2 through 5 for however long you want your swatch. And I think it looks best with this particular stitch pattern to end on a row 2. So we'll do a row 2 as a quick refresh. So what's our purl stitch, then it's that Tunisian simple together all the way through, chain 1, work in that center chain, and don't forget to work in that first vertical bar. So it adds like a neat little twist there, and just I think it's a fun textured stitch. I really had fun coming up with this guy. Maybe there is one out there like this, I don't know. Like, I never like to claim that I invent stitches. I just like to play around and see what comes up. Basically what appears on my hook. Alright, so again, repeat rows 2 through 5, and I'm going to work a few more rows so you can see the stitch pattern. I think it kind of looks like leaves in a way, and then I will meet you back. Okay, so here we go. I ended up working 18 rows. I ended on a row 2. So let's do our bind off. And as you can see, this one lays sort of flat. Having those purl stitches help. And I do have a variation of this stitch I made a little while ago. It's similar. It's a similar look. It's little bit different than this one, but that one looks more like a cable, where this one I guess kind of does too, but it just reminds me more of leaves than the other one does. So I can place a link on that one if you're curious. All right, so we are going to bind off in patterns. So that first one is a purl. And now we're supposed to work Tunisian knit. So we're just going to bind off in knit. So if you're not familiar with bind off, it helps make your your Tunisian work look its best. It just gives it a finishing touch. So you can just end like this, but this looks much better. Plus it mirrors the beginning of the row, especially because we worked in that back bump. So it just gives it a little bit more symmetry as well. All right, so let's keep going. Okay, so I'm at the end of my row here. So there is my purl stitch. And now we're just going to bind off in that stitch that looks like a chain. And there we go. So there it is. I do think this is a really fun stitch. I think it would look neat in a blanket, a scarf. I mean, a whole bunch of different projects I think this would work out well for. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.